Earlier this year, I got my first UNS aquarium. In this video, I unbox the aquarium and give you my review after having it on my desk for a few months. Hi there, it's Connor. Welcome to my review of the UNS 30C Rimless Cube. I personally love rimless tanks and have had other brands in the past. UNS is one I've had my eye on for a bit, and they offer many sizes, so I went to try one out. My reason for getting this is I wanted a small tank for raising polar parrot babies that would fit onto my desk. I went with the UNS 30C, which is a 7-gallon cube. I'm going to jump right into the unboxing here, and I'll talk about my thoughts after using it for about 6 months. So here you'll see me unbox it, and all the packaging it comes in. I thought it was packaged very well and safe. There's the box that comes right around the tank that you would normally see in stores, and then some additional padding around that for shipping. I think the risk of it getting damaged during shipping is pretty small. If it did, I think it would really have to be from careless handling by FedEx or UPS. If you are buying it online though, I would look for a guarantee on the website to make sure they cover any shipping damages, because with a glass tank getting shipped, there always is a risk of something going wrong. I personally got mine from Boost Plant, and they do cover damages. The price for mine was $80. And right now, looking at the website, the shipping is about $20. So about $100 for the aquarium in total. It is available from several other online stores. I know Glass Aqua is one, and I previously had seen them on Amazon, but I don't see UNS tanks listed right now. As far as the specs, the length, width, and height are all 11.81 inches. The glass thickness is 5 millimeters. The glass type is ultra clear low iron, and the volume is 7 gallons for this specific aquarium I got. Alright, so here we are with the tank fully set up. I actually recently rescaped it. I have shown the tank previously on my channel. There wasn't as much plants in the tank, and it's a little different setup. Right now, actually, there's no fish in the tank. Previously, when I showed the tank, I had baby polar parrots in it, and that's still a plan for this tank, but basically got a lot of snails in it. I wanted to redo the scape. So as soon as the polar parrots got large enough to move over, I moved them over and kind of did a break in breeding fresh ones. So now that it's all set up and cycled and rescaped, I will put new polar parrots in it as soon as I get another batch. But anyway, let's talk about the tank. So I'll start off with the positives, what I like about the tank. So the first one is it's just very clean looking. You can see right through the glass. It looks absolutely beautiful looking at the scape. And the silicone is very clean. If you look, you really can't see any extra. It just looks absolutely beautiful. It's really what I'd expect from a rimless tank. And another kind of unique thing is the corners of the glass. They're actually cut at 45-degree angles, so they're stuck together just like that. Not many other companies actually do that. They actually will kind of silicone it with one edge will be going straight over and the other one right attached to it. So that's definitely unique, and although it's kind of hard to see from far away, especially if you're standing like straight on, when you're close up, it really is a nice little touch to it. Another small thing, and Waterbox did have this, but I really like this one is, and you can actually hardly see it with the camera, but they have a UNS logo. It's really hard to see against the sand, which is also a good thing because it blends in, it's pretty slick. But when the tank is empty, I really kind of liked how they did it. It's very minimal, but when you look close, it gives it a very kind of high-end kind of look to the tank with just the logo very lightly etched on there. As far as getting it shipped, it was packaged really well. Can't say anything negative about that. I thought it was packaged very well, very safe. Really the only way I think it would have been damaged if the carrier was really careless with it and just like threw the package, or potentially if there was a heavy box that fell on my box in the truck or something, it could definitely get damaged, but I think that it was packaged well enough that any normal wear and tear of moving it, of traveling when it gets shipped, really shouldn't get damaged at all. So good on that, nothing negative to say about the packaging. And another small thing as far as durability is it comes with a self-leveling mat. You see that little black spongy foam surface under the tank. It comes directly with that. It's not actually attached to the tank, so you pretty much put that down and put the tank on top of it. That basically helps level the tank. It helps smooth out any irregularities with it being a fully glass tank with no rims on it. Any sort of bends or unevenness will put strain on the glass and will likely shorten the lifespan of it. So it's great that it comes with that. As far as other small little things I liked about the UNS tank and the brand and just these tanks in general, it's not really specific to the 30C, but just all the tanks they offer. The first one is that they sell a lid for it. So the fish I'm going to be keeping in here, I don't need a lid. They're not really known to jump. So I'm going to just keep the top open, and I really like the open look for rimless tanks, but if you do, they actually offer a lid that they sell. So I like that, and they sell it for almost all of their common tank sizes. So you can get one exactly for the dimensions you need, which is a big positive. A lot of other rimless companies don't offer that. And then the last one is that the UNS brand, the tanks they offer a ton of different sizes. This is a cube, a 30C cube, so it's 7 gallons, but they offer cubes, they offer standard tanks, they offer shallow tanks, they offer tall tanks, and really all sizes from really small nano tanks, like 1 to 2 gallons, all the way up to, I believe the largest they have is 168 gallons, so that is very cool. Other companies do offer that like big range, but the thing is they don't offer that many options in between, that many styles, and just, if you look at all the options they have, I'll kind of scroll through it here. There's just so many tanks they offer and so many different unique sizes. So that's really the biggest plus, I think, is that you can really get some unique tanks. And if you have an idea for a specific scape that you want a kind of tank for, that's a specific size or like a shallow or tall one, really UNS is going to be great because you can get a lot of different options and really kind of get the tank shape that you want. But now that's the positives. I did want to talk about some of the negatives, and there really isn't too many, but I did want to highlight some things that maybe they could improve on. The first one is that it is expensive for the size, and now you would expect that for any rimless tank. Rimless tanks are going to be more than a normal rim tank that you get, a standard tank from like Petco or PetSmart. So that's expected, but that is just something to keep in mind, that it is expensive for the size. If you buy a normal rim tank, you're going to get it for probably 10 to 20% of the price of this. It really will be much, much cheaper. And this was, for example, $80 for 7 gallon. That is pretty expensive for a tank that small, when you really can't put that many fish in it. But you're kind of paying for the look of it, the modern look. The other thing I'll talk about, and I'm going to cover this in more detail right after this section, is there are cheaper rimless options out there. UNS isn't the cheapest option. So that is something to keep in mind, is you could get a tank that looks pretty close to this for slightly cheaper. So that is something although pretty much everything else about this tank is positive, there's cheaper options out there, and so that's the main thing. And then one small negative, where it's kind of nitpicking here, but I just want to mention it just so you know, is the self-leveling mat is not attached, so it doesn't come glued to the tank. So other tanks, like I had the Waterbox 20 gallon, and that comes with a self-leveling mat, but it's attached right to the aquarium. The nice thing about that is you can just place the aquarium where you want it. You don't have to place the mat and then try to line it up. You can even see here, it's like slightly not perfect. It can be a little hard to get it perfect, and once you put water in, if you realize it's not perfect, it's not really worth trying to move it. But it's a small thing. It's still very easy to put on it, especially with a small tank like this. But if I had to pick, I'd probably pick having it attached to the aquarium, because then you can just place the aquarium down where you want it, and you don't need to worry about squaring it up and getting it exact. So a very small item, but just something to mention. On that note, that is pretty much what I had for the negatives. I did want to talk about some of the other options, some of the other brands of rimless tanks, just so if you're thinking about a UNS, you know what else is out there, and you can kind of pick the best option for you. So I did actually own a Waterbox tank previously. It also was a cube. It was a 20 gallon. Both look very slick. The only difference really is the Waterbox does not have these 45-degree angles. Kind of big thing I want to mention is the Waterbox right now actually is slightly cheaper when you look at the gallonage. So their closest size tank to this is a 6 gallon, and that actually is going to be cheaper. It's 1 gallon less, but I think the difference of price makes up for it if you're looking at the dollars per gallon. And when I kind of just go through all the tank sizes, they overall are cheaper per gallon for Waterbox. So it's definitely something to know if you want a tank that looks like this, but slightly cheaper, basically getting the least cost for that tank. The Waterbox probably is the cheapest right now. And then the only other thing I want to say about Waterbox that UNS has over it is there's not nearly as many size options and shape options. So if you do want something unique, you want like a shallow tank or a specific tall tank, then UNS is probably going to be what you're going to go to. But if you want a standard tank and you want the same size, they both have the same size or a close size to it, then Waterbox will probably be a bit cheaper. And then last, I want to close out with just kind of a summary on my thoughts and what I recommend buying. So overall, I'm very happy with my purchase. I think it looks beautiful. It's cool to see the 45-degree edges and kind of see some of the difference between this and the other top brand in the US, I'd say, for rimless aquariums, Waterbox. I am surprised that UNS is more expensive now, unless I wrote down the wrong notes in my old video. It was surprising to see them kind of flip, so that is something to note. Personally, if I was going to buy another rimless tank, I'd go with the cheaper of the options, just because they are both high quality. You're pretty much getting the same thing. So if Waterbox was cheaper for the same size, I'd go with Waterbox in the future. But if they flip-flopped, I'd go with UNS. I think they're both high quality. That does wrap up the review. If you stayed until the end, I want to thank you for that. And if there are any questions on this tank, let me know and I can answer more details in the comments. But if you found the video useful and enjoyed it, likes on the video and my channel are very appreciated. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch everyone in the next video.